I think we've all taken notice the recent trend that's befallen our current generation in gaming. It seems like a solid portion of both the Xbox One and PS4's library consists of HD remakes or next-gen remasters of games that came out as little as 4 or 5 years ago, and this has got a lot of gamers worried. While I can understand the fear that the gaming industry is going to take something relatively good and ruin it, because let's face it, that's kinda what they do, against all odds, I still have a mostly positive opinion of this whole ordeal. Since these are two separate issues that are both kind of important, I'm going to give each topic its own video. So first, let's start off with modern games getting remastered. The main titles that come to mind are The Last of Us, Uncharted, and maybe the Devil May Cry 4 remaster. These games, in their original state, are still graphically beautiful and well-made examples of solid gaming experiences from the far-off past, i.e. 3 or 4 years ago. So what's the big deal? Well, I'm sure the color green was a motivating factor, but I think us PC gamers might have a greater understanding of what's going on here than a lot of the console gamers will. You see, in the world of PC exclusives, there's always going to be that one game that you desperately want to play through, but its high-fidelity visuals limit how well you can run it or at what resolution, and that's if you can even run it at all. So these titles tend to slip into the dark corners of our Steam library until that fateful day. The day we finally drop a year's worth of saved income on a beefy new gaming machine, and what's the first thing we do? Maybe install some modern graphical showcase? Nah, chances are we're going to install an old-ass game that used to bring our PC to its knees and crank every graphical option to the max. The feeling of playing through an old game at a higher resolution and smoother frame rate than you originally experienced it at is intensely satisfying, and I think it's this background that has painted these remasters in such a positive light for me. Anyone who's played through The Last of Us on PS3 will notice an insane jump in graphical prowess on the PS4 remaster, and the move to a smooth 60 frames per second over the original 30 makes for a much more enjoyable experience. And if every remaster is met with a similar level of care and attention, I say bring them on. Can you imagine playing Resonance of Fate with some cleaned up visuals and no more dropped frames in battle? It'd be amazing. Now, I think if the creators can bring us their true vision without the constraints of the hardware that it was built on, it can certainly be worth the price of entry. Now, on the opposite side of the coin, detractors of these modern remasters are afraid that this will give the industry a blank check to put out unfinished games with the intention of selling us a complete version in the form of a remaster. While I can agree there is a potential for misuse there, the fact of the matter is game developers are always going to work outside of their means. I mean, even in the days of the 8-bit era, there were games being made that slowed to a crawl when more than 3 sprites were on screen. And for some reason, when concessions like this are made in modern games, we tend to sharpen our pitchforks. Now, I'm not condoning this, but the fact of the matter is you can't count on developers not pushing the envelope. So even without the popularity of modern remasters, games with capped frame rates or poor performance are still going to be mainstays on release lineups. The issue of a developer's reach far exceeding its grasp can lead to industry-wide innovation just about as often as it leads to a steaming pile of failure. So instead of thinking of these remasters as a free pass for game makers to release subpar content and make money off of fixing their own mistakes, I choose to see them as a protection from that same scenario. To put it simply, I'm interested to see where the industry takes this new fad, and for once, I'm choosing optimism. But that's just my opinion. If you want a more well-thought-out view on the issue, I suggest you check out Chadunda's take on it by clicking the annotation here. And while you're at it, leave me a comment and let me know where you stand. Are these new remasters a force of good or pure evil? Well, that's about it for me, but as usual, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, let's have a round of applause for an episode of this show not dedicated to off-target social justice. For those of you interested in some kick-ass opinion pieces, check out Chadunda's channel by clicking here on the left. And since you're going all click crazy, you might as well check out my video on racism in gaming here on the right. By not watching this, you are proving that you are in fact a racist. Just some food for thought.